All right, I'll wait for somebody to count daily Bible readers. They ain't come in yet. Here comes Mike. Daily Bible readers. Hold up, Barry. I would normally ask who needs a book, but I'm not using that book this morning. I'm violating my own code. I don't do that very often because we paid for those books, and they have good lessons in them, and I like to use them. And the one for today was a good lesson. If you've not picked up this book and read it out in the folder, The Spiritual Sword, you need to do it. I come across an article by Brother Glenn Colley. You ever heard Brother Glenn Colley speak? You've missed a great speaker. He speaks down over at East Main in Cookville every year at their eldership leadership program. Murfreesboro, what did I say? Okay. I'm not responsible for anything else I say. Anyhow, he speaks over there with Brother Tom Holland and Brother Alan Hires. And if you've not been there, you might want to go. You'll learn a lot. These men are very talented. I heard him speak in a gospel meeting up in Crossville one year. He done a great job up there. The lesson he's talking about in here is something I'm very concerned about with myself, for sure, and with other people. And the name of the lesson is, Whatever Happened to Personal Evangelism? Something to think about. If you go out there, it's in the blue book. It'd be good to read it. I'm just taking, I guess you could say, excerpts, the way I want to say the word. I can't speak good English either. From the book. He says, first, personal evangelism can be viewed in two ways. It can be a major thrust for the cause of Christ, or it can be just a memory that once was done. He says two reasons committed evangelism has faded is we have allowed our discomforts to win over our obedience. We're uncomfortable doing it. I'm uncomfortable doing it. I don't claim to. I haven't known anybody walk on water in a long time. He says, this statement really concerned me too. He says, we have redefined growth to mean people are placing membership, mistaking congregational growth for kingdom growth. And I'll give you an example. A few years ago, Highland Heights and Lebanon had some serious problems. I'm not going into those problems. That's irrelevant. But they had some serious problems which ended up with the eldership resigning and the congregation split. Now, I don't mean split, it just scattered. Maple Hill at that time was a certain size. It swelled to a bigger size quickly, much bigger. Now, it wasn't through conversion, it was through transitioning from Highland Heights to Maple Hill. Now I've heard that Maple Hill is going down a little bit because many of those people are coming back to Highland Heights because it is back a thriving congregation again. But that's what he means by that is people are moving around, but we're not bringing new souls in through the door. That's a problem. If the kingdom is to continue to grow, it is. He says we need to stop ignoring the need for personal evangelism and do whatever it takes to make it happen. We're entering an age, he says, and I agree with him, in which Americans have culturally devalued Christianity. As Everett talked about in this morning about atheism growing, and it will grow even faster, I predict, in the next 10 years, unless something happens. He says the excuses for our failures to talk to unbelievers about New Testament is fast becoming an epidemic in the church. Now, don't misunderstand me. That's always been a problem. It's not like I've discovered something new. When I first come to church here, and I come out of Pentecostalism, I won't remember the first time I went with Judy to church in Nashville. And I heard the first gospel sermon preached, and I thought, I ain't never heard nothing like this. This is totally different than anything I've ever heard. And where's the people that's jumping up and shouting and running around? I ain't seen none of that either. I couldn't figure it out. But I became a Christian at Carthage here, and then Ramsey baptized me. At that time, along about that time, Brother Dwight Stamps, R.W. Vincent, I think Don, and I'm trying to remember who else. My memory slips big time. We started knocking on doors. Now, I'm not telling you that knocking on doors is the thing you've got to do. I'm just saying that that's how we began our personal evangelism. I'm hearing that there's groups of young men that are meeting in this congregation that are studying the Bible together each week, and I'm tickled to death to hear that because we did that. And we grew in Christ fast. And we didn't have to, if we went to study with somebody, I didn't call for WA to come go with me, an elder. I knew the Bible enough that we could go do it ourselves. And we did that. Because we wanted to, because we thought we had to. That we had to, or we were not going to make it to heaven. That's what we thought. Were we wrong? I don't think so. A question he asked is this: do we think the first century church existed in a culture that made it easy to speak to people about the gospel? Do we think that? You remember how fast it grew? 3,000, 5,000. It was jumping. Now, compared to the number of people there, you might not think it's jumping. There's lots of people there, probably hundreds and hundreds of thousands. But it was still growing quickly. They didn't have it easy. Now, I'll admit that this day and time we might knock on the door and somebody might shoot us between the eyes. I wouldn't guarantee that wouldn't happen. But if it does, I go, God will take care of the rest. Don't worry about that. But back then, you remember Paul, when he was Saul, was going around dragging men and women and putting them in prison? So, do you think the other Jews didn't continue that approach after he was converted? So when they went to see somebody or run into somebody and talk to them about Christ, do you think they were sure they wouldn't be put in jail? Or put to death? No, they wasn't sure. We've lived in I call it a bubble here for a pretty good while. That bubble could burst. We need to learn that we need to be doing what God said we should be doing as far as spreading His gospel. And he'll make some statements on down further that it really got me to thinking. When Brother Ben Colley held a meeting at East Main here, which is probably one of the thriving congregations, probably the most sound congregation in Murfreesboro, Brother Wayne Langford, who used to preach at Montrose, preaches there. Been there for a long time. Donna and Brad Cowan, that's where they go to church. It's a thriving church. It's a sound church. And they hold it, I think it's this weekend, they have the young men's seminar, I think, isn't it? The young men's or something. I think it's this weekend, or maybe it's next weekend. But Justin's going to take some too. But they have a lot of good things like that going on. Well, while he was there, he picked up one of their bulletins. And it says, the statement was in the bulletin: those who are meeting on a regular basis each week to do door-to-door knocking throughout the community should certainly be commended. Now, I'm not telling you you got to do door-to-door knocking. There's lots of ways to do personal evangelism. But they recognize those people, and they appreciate it because they know that's the only way the church will truly grow, that somebody's out there teaching. Door knocking is indeed a means of evangelism. Matthew 28:19-20 told us to go into all the world and preach the gospel. We're all commanded to do that. You think I wasn't scared to death? No, it's what we're doing. Don was taking me under his wing and teaching me things. That was good. He done me a lot of good there. He helped a lot. Helped a lot of us back then. There used to be a guy named Jewel Miller. Now, some of us that are older will know what that name means immediately. Jewel Miller, he produced a set of film strips called Jewel Miller film strips. Run them in them old, real type projectors. We'd go to a house and study and set that projector up and crank that thing up and watch the film strips with them. Then we'd have a question answer session afterwards and see when we could come back again for the next film. And I forget how many films there was, 5 or 6 or 7, I can't remember. And through many of them, we converted people. Not every time. God didn't say that I had to succeed every time. He said I had to do it. And let him worry about the success. Anyhow, what I want to get to is what Jewel Miller said. Now, before you think I'm advocating door knocking is the only way to go, no. Jewel Miller said that his best prospects were not from the door knocking. They didn't mean he didn't think he didn't get prospects there. But from people who have already shown interest by visiting our assemblies. What did he do? He immediately began making friends with them. Getting to know them. Take them out to eat or something. Something to get their attention to listen to him. He had to do something so that they wouldn't miss that opportunity. Now, do you think everyone he become friends with was converted? I seriously doubt it. And I'm sure if he were alive today, he'd tell you the same thing. But Brother Colley makes a statement too we need to remember. He says, the New Testament church was not a come and see religion, but rather a go and tell religion. So it's our job. They may come to the congregation, but it's still our job to go and tell them. They're probably not going to learn enough from the pulpit just occasionally to fully understand what all is going on. Now, it doesn't belittle whatever it says or whoever is up there says, but that one-on-one contact allows you to answer questions that might not get answered there at that time, that need to be answered. So it's very important. You know, we got to look for opportunities. And I'm going to tell you about one that I'm sorry I missed. It's been a few days ago. I was at a drugstore and a guy come in there that I had known all my life. He'd been rough. But he had started going to church. He was going to a Baptist church, I think, and he was talking real nice to me and wanted to know if I was a Christian and all this and that. But I didn't really want to get into too much right there in the drugstore because I don't like doing people's place of business like that in case things was to get a little argumentative or something. Not meaning to, but it might. What I didn't do was didn't follow him out the door and go out to his car and talk to him. God forgive me for that. If I get another chance, I will. R.W. said he was in the parking lot not long ago at Walmart and talked to this guy, and these people come by. He wanted to talk to a few minutes and couldn't get away from this guy that was talking to him because he wouldn't let him go till they done gone on him. That hurt him, but it happened. There wasn't nothing he could do about it. But he was looking. Back years ago, I'll tell you a good one on Jeffrey. We pulled up this used to tickle Judy's brother to death, Doug. We pulled up beside a car in Lebanon. You never knew what Jeffrey's going to do. I mean, you think Ava Catherine's bad, you ought to know Jeffrey. I'm sitting there at the red light, and he has rolled down the back window, and there's somebody in the car next to us looking at him, and he says, "You looking?" course, we're trying to get the window back up quickly, before something goes wrong here. Because the way he said that tickled her brother to death, though. But we got to be looking. You ain't going to find nothing. You ain't looking for it. Kid goes Easter egg hunting. They find any Easter eggs, they don't look for them? I don't think so. You might lay them out plain enough for you. They didn't have to look hard, but they got to look regardless. So we got to do it. How many in here's read the book Muscle and Shovel? Need to read that book. I don't care how long you've been a Christian. You need to read that book. It'll remind you why you are, what you are, and what you need to be doing. A guy named Randall, who was a black guy that worked at this place in Nashville. I'm not going to go through the whole book, just a brief thing on it here. And this white guy named Michael Shanks, when he come to work, he had to come by Randall each day. And Randall got to talking to him. Got to ask him about his religion and things. Now, you got to understand, this black guy named Randall was highly intelligent, knew the scriptures like the back of his hands. We used to be called walking Bibles. He was one. And so he would throw a scripture to Michael, who was a Baptist at that time, and ask him questions. Well, Michael would go see his Baptist friend, who would tell him, "No, that ain't right. Here's what it is." Then he would come back to Randall, and Randall would say, "Now, wait a minute. You're saying he said that. Well, what about this?" And he just kept building on this and building on this till he finally converted the guy. And the guy ends up writing this book, Muscle and Shovel, because he was converted by that guy. But what was so important there was that Randall, now this is several years ago, who was a black guy who was teaching a white guy and wasn't afraid to do it, and wasn't afraid, and the white guy was listening. There was a genuine concern here. Randall knew that if he didn't take that first step, it wouldn't happen. Randall took that first step, and it happened. There are 6 things, which I may not get through them. That's okay. We'll just go as far as we can go. In becoming good people for personal evangelism, first we have to force obedience upon ourselves. We have to force ourselves to obey God. When I first become a Christian, of course I wanted to do lots of things, but I forced myself to do a lot of things because I knew I needed to. Now, force will later on become love and become want to. But sometimes you have to force yourself to start it. In Matthew 28, 18 through 20, I want to read this and I want to make a few brief comments. And Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, "All authority hath given to me in heaven and earth. Go, and therefore make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Now, there were certain words in there that's really important. First one was go. He didn't say think about going. He didn't say it's optional. He said go. The second thing he said was make disciples. If you don't go, you can't make disciples. If you don't go and teach, there won't be no disciples. Third, you're to teach them. You're not just to teach them to get their head wet. You're to teach them what it takes to be faithful to God. If you do these things, he says a promise there. Now, he doesn't give you this promise until the end. Now, remember that. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. I'm not going to be with you unless you do these other things. That's automatic there. So, if you think that you can get to heaven and never take opportunities of teaching people, you better start looking at the Bible closer. You might be shocked on that day. I hope not. I pray for every one of you to get to heaven, but it might not happen. In 1 Corinthians 9, 19 through 22, it says, "For though I am free from all men, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win the more. In the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might win Jews. To those who are under the law, as under the law, that I might win those who are under the law. To those who are without law, as without law, not being without law toward God, but under law towards Christ. That I might win those who without law. To the weak I became as weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. You had a good friend that loved baseball. You didn't care a flang about baseball. Matter of fact, it was so boring you didn't even like to go see it. What if you become his friend and you went with him to baseball, that you could get a chance to talk with him about religion? That's what Paul's saying here. I'll do some things as long as I don't violate God's laws. I'll go along with some things just to get you to listen to me. And that's very important. We need to do that, because that's how we win people lots of times. I guess I could go on, but I'm going to run out of time. We already got one bell and I ain't even got started good. Too long introduction. I want to say this right quick. What was the most important thing you was ever taught? The single most important thing you were ever taught. Heaven, the Bible. Why is it so important? Because life is short. I went to bed 18, I woke up 66, going on 67. That seems like a blink of an eye ago. And eternity is unending. We're going to be in eternity. It doesn't matter whether we want to be there or don't want to be there. We're going to be there. There is no middle of the road place up there. It's either hell or heaven. There's no other choice. So we need to get doing what God tells us to do while there's still time to do it, because there may not be time later on. Or something happened to us before we get out the door. Just think about those things. There's a whole lot more that was in this lesson, but I just give you a taste of it, but I thought it was important because I read it, and it got to me too. To think about what I need to be doing. I'll shut up now and let y'all have it. Thank you.